What if I told you we are on the verge of seeing a massive tax increase for millions and millions of people here in the United States? Most people would assume, no, that's completely wrong. There is no way lawmakers are going to pass a tax increase. However, you would be wrong, because right now, many states, many counties, many cities are talking about a certain and particular tax increase that's going to impact about 54 million Americans right now. So I'm going to break down who this is going to impact, why this tax increase is likely going to be on the table, and how some states may actually go over the voters and just pass this anyway. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment. All I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So first off, let's address one thing that I just said, that certain states, certain counties could actually go over the voters' heads and increase taxes for a certain group of people. I'm talking about property taxes. One of the reasons why certain counties can go past the voters, and voters don't get a chance to vote on this, is because these counties or these states can say this is more of a state of emergency. Again, they're going to use that emergency declaration so that the voters don't have a say. You know why? Because libraries, schools, parks, rec centers, all these different places are shutting down because the county, the city, or the state doesn't have enough money to pay for them. Just look at this. Okay, I want to show you this. It says a 21% Washington County property tax hike is on the table. A 21%. That would be a massive, massive property tax hike. Millions of people would be impacted because of that. But it doesn't stop there. Look at this one. Property tax rate hikes approved by Kauai County Council. This is just from today. If you think property taxes are going to stay stagnant, you're wrong. Property values have surged. We've seen property values surge by 165% since 2000. We've seen property values increase by about 47% since 2020 alone. We have seen in certain areas that property values have increased by over 100% because of the lack of property, okay, and the location. I want to show you something else though. Look at this one right here. Again, from today. It says proposed Winston-Salem City budget calls for property tax hikes and fee increases. We continue to see this. The reason for this is simple. These cities and these counties don't have the money necessary to keep certain programs open and running. So you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to get that money by increasing property taxes. Because that's one thing that has not gone up as much as property values. And that's something that many city and state officials have been saying for quite some time, is we should see the property tax increases, they should be indexed with property values. Well, as a property owner, I'd say no, I don't want that, because if that happens, I have to pay more money. I want to show you something else though. Look at this. It says DC Council Chair proposes tax hikes to keep programs mayor would cut. Now again, we're not just talking about property taxes in this instance, but this is the key. That mayors are having to cut certain programs. So because of that, they are trying to do whatever they can to bring in a little more revenue. Again, keep in mind that property values have gone up immensely over the past few years. But as far as property taxes, they've not stayed consistent. We haven't seen them increase, or at least be indexed with the property value. Now, currently there's 83 million single-family homes in the United States, or give or take a few million. 54 million of those are owner-occupied. Okay? So it means the owner, the person, that got the mortgage, is living in it, right? Fixing it, doing all the maintenance, right? Just the regular day-to-day upkeep. 54 million people. That means 54 million people currently have a somewhat of a liability. A home is considered more of a liability, not really an asset in my opinion. Yes, it can grow, but if something ever happens to it, you are liable. You will pay that fee. You'll pay whatever you need to fix it. 54 million people are now on the hook to pay all the additional property taxes. Okay? Keep that in mind. 99% of those 54 million people, so more than 53 million people, are actually required to pay property taxes. You are not property tax exempt. Now, I know in Washington State, certain groups of people can be property tax exempt, but it doesn't happen everywhere. Here's what you need to understand. We are about to face a massive crisis. We are about to face these tax increases. Now, you may not see this over the next 6 months or the next year, but experts predict that we are about to see a property tax hike surge all throughout the United States. So if you currently own a home, you are going to get hit with additional taxes. Now, I talked to a friend of mine over in Florida. He's seen his property taxes have gone up so much. Okay? California, again, seeing them go up a little bit. Washington State, have a friend, he actually bought a vacation property on a lake, and the home cost $2.5 million, whatever it was. His taxes when he bought it, there was an estimate. This is what you're likely to pay, and then what he now will have to pay this year, because he's had it for about 8 months. This year, what he's going to have to pay, he's seen about a 22% increase in his property taxes. He wasn't expecting that. But again, that 22% is a pretty substantial amount of money. All I'm here to tell you is we are about to see this new wave of property tax increases. The Biden administration has said that they will not raise any taxes. They will not increase your taxes. Nobody making less than $400,000 per year will pay a penny more in taxes, or so he says. But here's the thing. You may not see that from the federal level, but the federal government is also not one that's going to be paying all these states, all these counties, and all these cities. We're not going to see a massive stimulus for all these states. We're not going to see $300 to $350 billion of additional funding to all these states. We're not going to see it. But what we will see is the states are going to change their laws. We're going to see the counties, the cities, they're going to fight for additional increases to property taxes and other taxes as well. One thing I can tell you is that states are all looking at a way that they can increase their revenue, their tax revenue. One of the ways that most states can do it, well, you declare an emergency, a state of emergency, where now you need additional revenue coming in. And the way you're going to get it is increase taxes for a little bit. You don't make it permanent. It's a short-term tax increase. But as more people start to pay that tax over the next 1, 2, 3 years, then eventually what they always do, they make it permanent. So even though they say it's a temporary tax increase, in most cases, probably about 95% of the time, it becomes a permanent tax increase. So just be aware of what is coming. We are likely not to see any of this right before the election, but we are likely to see a surge in property tax hikes very soon. I expect within the next year to 2 years, we're going to see a massive surge. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you right now is if you are a homeowner, be ready, because you may be hit with a big tax bill that you never expected. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.